Okay, everybody. So this is week 4 of IAD, I think. Um, so what did I find most valuable this month? Well, learning libgdx, learning the game engine. To be honest, I didn't know how those things worked or how everything works, and now knowing that the engine will render several times, I think 60 times per second or some crazy number like that, just run through the code. That's pretty interesting. That's I would say valuable to learn, so that way you can play with the engine later on, and maybe test other game engines out. What did I find most challenging? I'll have to go back to the libgdx. Now their documentation, I would say, is pretty good. Got a whole bunch of warnings that their documentation wasn't very good. A lot of the information that I had to find from Stack Overflow, I had to kind of manipulate it to make it work. That was probably the most challenging, is to get the libgdx to work with my Android activities as well, and the way I wanted to set up my menu. And since this is just a one type of game, is only made for Android, kind of came a little bit of a complication there with libgdx. So the other question here: what would you have done differently if you could? I would say on week 3, I would have started a lot earlier. So that way I ran into a problem where I spent most of the week trying to get Google Play services, which I never got working. Um, kind of figures why it's not as popular as it should be. That right there killed most of my week. So I had to really hurry and do everything within 2 days, which still was late, but to start over from scratch and use parse instead of the Google developers way. Um, that I would have done differently. I would have avoided Google's Game Center to begin with until I know more about signing into the account, linking the device up to the account, and so forth. Because it was not a very easy ride to go through, and especially tying that in with using an activity that libgdx doesn't exactly approve of, and back and forth. It was a nightmare. Um, List a few things that could use more clarification. I would have liked to learn this month how the developer ties the user's information in the game and so forth, and what the potential that they could do, basically. So Game Center, for both platforms, iOS and Android, a little bit more knowledge on that, a little bit more explaining how does it work. I went into it 3 days into it thinking that I could just throw strings up there, when I found out that it's an all automated service. It'll grab numbers or something for you, and you have to have your account signed in and so forth. And I didn't have any kind of if statements checking any of that. So that would be a lot easier. It would be nice if we can actually learn into that and see exactly what Google expects from us as developers with the Google Game Center and the Apple Center as well, the Game Center, whatever they call it as well. But that being said, this month was fun. Majority of the month, I would say the assignments were fairly easy, but it kind of allowed me to manipulate it, play with it more, and fully get an understanding of what was trying to be taught this month. I have to say this month was all in all a good month, and I hope to see most of you guys all next month.